So the collection of good data is crucial. If you collect poor data or you collect it wrong, two things will happen. Okay. The first thing is that you won't be allowed to leave the park until you have good data. Right? And that means that if you had planned to go, shopping to some particular place at 3 o'clock when that's allowed, or 2:30 when that's allowed to happen, you won't be able to do that because you won't have good enough data. Okay? If you're really, kind of paying attention and watching how things are going, you can have this data collected in an hour. Okay? And then you can just enjoy yourself, ride all the rides, do whatever. Okay? But if you're not being careful about the data, you're not kind of watching how things work, it's going to take you a lot longer. You're going to be redoing things because I'm going to look at your data and go, no, okay, you got to go back and do that again. That's not right. You're not watching it the right way or whatever. Okay, and that's going to be annoying for everybody, including me, because I have to keep sending you back and telling you the same thing, and I don't want to have to do that. Okay. The second thing that can happen is if it's at the end of the day and you still don't have good data, you're pretty screwed because now you have to use your wrong data to do the assignment. That's not going to work out well either. Okay, so we got to make sure we're collecting good data. All right, so the first thing you have is obviously the page with the names on it. Then there's a map of the park. That can come in handy. It's not that big, but if you're looking for something, it helps you find where they are. Okay, then we have our names and paces in there. So here's what we're going to use the paces for. We're going to use the paces to calculate the height of the rides. Okay, because they kind of frown on us climbing up on them and running measuring tapes down and stuff. So what we're going to do is we'll pace off as close to the ride as we can get or into a part of the ride, because sometimes there's like catwalks that actually go through parts of the ride. Like for the Mindbender, one of the loops has a catwalk that goes right through it. All right, and it's really easy to take measurements for that. You can get pretty close to the space shot and then walk away from it and measure angles and things like that. So that's what we'll be doing, is we'll be pacing things off, and then we'll be measuring the angles from wherever we're standing. How are we going to measure the angles? Well, you're going to use your technology here. Okay, you are going to go into, if you have an iPhone, okay, you go into the utilities, and it's the compass app. If you hit the compass, okay, first thing it shows you is the compass. If you sweep one to the right, come on. Oh no, is it gone? No. They put it in the measuring app now? Well, there's a whole new... Well, I know, but the measuring app sucks. Oh, that's no good. Oh, okay, level. All right, I gotcha. All right, so it's in the measuring app now. Stupid Apple. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. Okay, if you use the level part, all you have to do is have your partner stand right here. You've paced off to a certain point, and then you just look up along your phone to the top of the ride. They measure the angle off your phone, and you're good. Now you can calculate using trigonometry how tall the ride is. You're not going to have to do that calculation at the park. Just record the angle. We'll do the calculations later. Okay, that's what you'll have to do. That's how we'll calculate like the radius of a loop, the height of the space shot, the height of the first hill on the roller coasters. Okay, all of that kind of stuff is going to be measured that way. All right, everybody kind of follow how we're going to do that? Okay, so that's now in the measuring app, not in the compass app. I suppose it makes more sense for it to be in that app. Okay, so that'll be how we do that. Now, the first activity, and you have to have somebody who's going to ride all the rides for this to be a controlled experiment. We need the reactions of the same person, okay? So, in the data booklet, all you have to record are the numbers, okay? So, before, I was, like really tense or whatever, just put the numbers in, okay? In the assignment booklet, you actually have to write out the entire word, just for when you get there, okay? But you just have to put in those numbers, pulse rates, physiological symptoms, okay, whatever you have, okay, put them in there. That's a pretty easy one. And then questions 1 and 2, okay, at the park, just write something down. These exact same questions are in the assignment booklet. So all you really need here are some notes to go off of for when you do the actual assignment. So you're looking at how amusement parks are designed to give you the illusion of danger and speed based on your physiological reactions. So looking up at that chart, okay, which ride seemed to give the greatest illusion of danger and speed? What design elements seem to be common to the rides that give that illusion? Okay, how do these rides give the illusion of danger and speed? Okay, so just put in a couple of notes there. There'll be more room, and I'll expect more detail on the assignment. This is just the data booklet, so just jot notes is fine. All right, activity 2 should be the easiest one in the whole park. It's the little kiddie coaster. Okay, it's called the auto sled. Okay, and Getting the measurements for this should be really easy, but people do it wrong all the time, which is why Mr. Dickey got frustrated and put it in red. This is the one people come to us and is done wrong all the time. So make sure you're paying attention how you do this. Okay, so things that we need to be watching for. Okay, for number 4 and 5 here, timing the entire train to pass the top and pass the bottom of the first hill. All right, so first thing you have to do is just count how many cars are on the train. So you go up to the ride and count them up. Okay, number of people on the train, just count how many people are there. Okay, length of the train. Before you get in, pace off the train. Okay, that's all you have to do is walk along the train, count your steps. Okay. Then time for the entire train to pass the top of the first hill. So the train gets dragged up to the top of the hill. I don't want to record that part. I don't want to know how long it takes to go up the hill. I want to know how long does it take for it to pass the top. That is, start timing when the front of the train is at the top of the hill. Stop timing when the back of the train passes that same point. Okay, so it's going to be, you'll have this low point here, you'll be dragged up the hill, and this is where you start the timing. Okay, start the timer when the front of the car gets there, stop it when the back of the car passes that point. Okay, you're going to use that to calculate how fast the car is going up here at the top of the hill, so we can do a conservation of energy calculation. We need to know its velocity at the top. Everybody follow? Okay. Now, the other part, calculate the time for the entire train to pass the bottom of the first hill. So when it drops down off of here, okay, start recording when the front of the train passes here. Stop recording when the back of the train passes here. Okay, we're not recording the whole time. Okay, people do that, and then they end up telling me in their calculations that the train was going slower here than it was here because they're using the whole time. That's not what we want. Okay, we just want the times here and here. Everybody follow? Okay, you got to do that one right. That's the one people screw up all the time. Okay, height of the top of the first hill using the bottom of the first hill as ground level. Okay, here's what you do for this one. The train has a yellow track, and it goes right across one of the main streets, okay, that you can walk on. So all you have to do is walk over. It's right near the big climbing structure in the shooting gallery. Okay, if you just stand underneath the track, walk away from the track a few steps, then turn around and measure the angle, you've got what you need. Okay, so it should be really easy to get the height of that one. So like I said, this is one of the ones that should have the easiest data gathering of any of them. Okay. Then the other things you need to do here, okay. Okay. Qualitative observations, where was the highest hill? So just write it down. Where did you feel the lateral forces when you were on the ride? So your guinea pig will have to tell you that one. Okay. Where on the ride did you feel you were going the fastest? That's up to your guinea pig. Okay. And where on the ride were you lifted off of your seat? Again, ask the guinea pig. All right. Then we have the flying galleon, which is the swinging ship. Okay. So this one's one of the good ones to do right after you eat. No one's ever puked on this one yet. Okay, so you only need to record 2 things. Now, here's the thing about this one. I have not taught you anything about pendulums yet. It's in Unit 4. It's like the first thing I'll teach you in Unit 4, but I haven't taught it yet. Okay, that's why this assignment isn't going to be due till Christmas. Okay, there's still a few things in here that I haven't taught you, and I want to give you the chance to do these. Okay, so we just need to time 1 complete swing. Here's what 1 complete swing is. 1 complete swing is wait till the thing is in full swing. Okay, don't start timing when it's still getting going. Wait till it's in full swing. Then, when it's all the way over here, okay, so like the mast, the center mast here, this thing is like even with this, start your timer. You're going to time all the way over and back. That is 1 complete swing. There and back is 1 complete swing. All right, everybody follow there. Okay, the other thing you have to record is the estimated maximum deflection of the pendulum. And again, you're going to use the measuring app for this. Okay, you're going to use the level when you do this. So, okay, go back into level. And then, okay, what you'll do is you'll hold it like this and then just move it out so that you're following the mast of the ship. Okay, so just kind of, all right, so here it's level and I'm moving away. Okay, there it is, and I'm good. All right, so you're going to just record it like that. Okay? You'll probably have to watch it a couple of times to get a consistent measurement. Okay, and then your qualitative observations are again up to your guinea pig. Where did you feel the most pressure against your seat? Where did you feel you were going the fastest? Okay, none of the observations are overly difficult. Okay, for really any of these. Okay, the space shot. This one's probably the toughest one to get the data for because you can't get really close to it. Right? There's an observation deck, but it's hard to get a good angle from that, and it's hard to pace off because you can't pace straight to it. Okay, so what we have to do is we kind of stand over here, not right beside it, okay, but we stand as close to it as we can, and we kind of pace away from it and then remeasure. All right, so you'll have to aim upwards. What I do not want you to do is do not go by the measurements on the side. Okay, because they've got these banners up there that say it's this many feet. First off, we don't want it in feet. We want it in meters. And secondly, those are measured from the ground. The ride doesn't start on the ground. The ride starts at the observation deck level. Okay, that's why we need to pace it off from there. So don't use the measurements on the wall. They're not right. Okay, we want to use measurements from the observation deck. Okay, so things you have to record. Distance covered by the car during the first upward acceleration. So that'll be the height measurement that you take. Okay, time taken for the first upward acceleration. Really good on the space shot is they do a countdown. So you shouldn't have too much reaction time error, okay, when you're timing this, but you'll need to watch it a few times probably. Okay, then distance covered by the car during the first downward acceleration. It's not the same. It doesn't come all the way back down, right? It stops quite a ways ahead of you, okay, on the first downward acceleration. So the distances are different. Again, you're gonna have to watch this a few times in order to get all the measurements you need. And then the time taken for the first downward acceleration as well. Okay, then your qualitative observations, okay? You gotta ask your guinea pig, how did you feel when you were being accelerated upwards? How did you feel when you were suspended at the top? Okay, how did you feel when you were falling back down and when you were stopping? Okay, so you have to ask them all of that kind of stuff. On that ride, guys, they're really sticky about like things that could come off. Okay, so they usually ask you to take your shoes off, things like that. You can't have anything in your hands. You can't have your phone out in front of you videoing stuff, okay, because people drop things and they can get into the working machinery of the ride. All right, we once had a kid who thought it would be cool, and it did end up looking really cool, but it wasn't a good idea for him to do it. He put a penny in his hand, and when they shot him upwards, the ride stops and the penny floated up off of his hand due to Newton's first law, and it was right in front of his face when they took the picture. Okay. Now, while that picture looked really cool, it also resulted in us having to go get him bailed out of mall security. Okay. Because they're kind of sticky about safety. They don't need a small piece of metal getting stuck in the workings of the ride where people's lives depend on it. So, okay, don't do anything foolish when you're on there, okay, because we want everybody to be safe. Okay, so those are the observations you're going to have to take for that one. Okay, so the mind bender. All of your loop measurements are going to be for this center loop. All right, because as I said, the catwalk goes right through the middle of it. All right, so you can make really good measurements on here. And when you're standing on this catwalk, you're pretty much dead center on that loop. All right, so you'll be in the loop and you kind of just walk away from the loop. You do have to walk up a couple of stairs, just count your steps, okay, and walk away and then measure to here because we're going to want the radius of this central loop. All right, everyone follow me on that one? So this is another one that's easy to get good data for. Okay, so we just need the radius of that loop and the time for one complete revolution of the loop. I would time it a couple of times, okay, so you get some good consistent data. Okay, then these are just predicted. Okay, how heavy did your guinea pig feel going through the loops? Okay, and then other ones your guinea pig needs to tell you is what sensations did you feel as the train was going through the loops? Where was the highest point on the ride? Where on the ride were you going the fastest? Where did you experience the greatest G-forces? Okay, things like that. All right, so that's what you have to record for the mind bender. Okay, the swing of the century. All right, so this one here just goes around and around, okay, and kind of up and down as well. Right, so it's a really good one to go on right after you eat. Okay, and so we want to go on that one, and we only, again, need to record two things. We need the radius of rotation. That one people do wrong often. We need the radius of rotation when it's spinning, not when the swings are hanging straight down. So what you have to do as an observer is you have to watch your guinea pig going around and around, okay, and you have to kind of eyeball how far out those swings go so that when the ride is done, your guinea pig can get off, stand right even with the center of this ride and pace out to that mark, okay, and get the radius of the circle. All right, the rest of it is easy. You're just timing, so you watch your friend, okay, and just kind of start it, and when they come back around, stop it. It's an easy measurement. Okay, like I said, none of the data here is hard. Okay, it's all easy, straightforward observations. Now, qualitative observations on this one, watch very, very carefully because people get the qualitative observations of this one wrong all the time. Okay, how does the angle of an empty seat compare with the angle of an occupied seat? Watch that one carefully. Okay, does the mass of the rider seem to make any difference? Okay, question 2, describe your sensations as the ride increases in speed, and what happens to the angle of the chain as the ride increases in speed? Okay, so those are all observations you have to make. The bumper cars. Best way to do observations of the bumper cars is to take video of them. All right, use your phone and put it in slow-mo. Okay, so set it, this lower resolution but a higher frame rate. Okay, if you can get your phone to 120 frames per second, okay, I think you can do that in the newer iPhones, like at 1080. At 1080p, you can go 120 frames per second, which is good for slow motion. Okay, so what you need to do when you go onto the bumper cars is first just go on and beat the crap out of each other on there. Okay, then go back on knowing what things you need to do, okay? Because there's specific situations, specific collisions that you need to record, right? And you're going to want to record them right in front of the person who's recording them so you can slow them down on your phone and make good qualitative observations. So the first collision is, okay, between two cars when one bumper car is stationary. So somebody just has to sit there and get smashed, okay? That's it, all right? So, a rear end collision with both cars moving. So you have to have one person going slow and one person has to come up from behind faster and smash into them. Okay, and we need to get good video of that. All right, a head-on collision with both bumper cars moving. So you gotta go at each other as hard as possible and smash into one another. Okay, a collision with a stationary object like a wall. Drive right at the person videoing and hit the wall as hard as you can. Okay, get good video of that. And then a side swipe. So just two cars kind of hitting each other as they go side to side. Again, try and do all of those going towards the person. Okay, any ones that are like lateral towards the person, any ones that are like head on or from behind need to be so the person can take it from the side. All right, so that way you'll get really good observations for that. Okay, that's it. Those are the observations you have to make. They're not difficult as long as you're watching for them. Now, here's the thing about when we're at the park. They run the rides on a rotating schedule. So the person who runs the Mindbender also runs the Space Shot. So they'll run the Mindbender for like 35 minutes, and then they'll run the Space Shot for 35 minutes, or whatever the rotation schedule is. Okay, so you kind of need to watch. Okay, the Mindbender's running right now. Let's go get all our data for the Mindbender. Okay, while the Mindbender's running, okay, I've got my data for that. I'm going to go over and get my data for the Swing of the Century, which runs pretty much nonstop. Okay, and then I'll go over to the bumper cars, which also isn't run on rotation, so I can go over there. Then go back and get the Space Shot data, okay, things like that. You have to time it, okay, so that you can get all the data that you need. Okay, get the data early so you can just concentrate on enjoying yourself after that. Okay, not that you want to enjoy yourself while you're getting the data, but it's not as fun as when you can just put the data booklet in your pocket and have fun. Okay. All right, any questions on what we're looking for tomorrow? Okay, so I've recorded this. I'm going to post it on YouTube. I'm going to put it in Google Classroom. If you can't find me tomorrow, and you don't know what to do, you can use this. There is free Wi-Fi in the park. Okay, so you can go back to this. If you ask me too many questions, I'll hide from you and you'll have to use this. No, I'm kidding. Okay, but just know that hey, that's there so that you can do that. And then I don't even have the assignment booklets copied yet. I'm going to give those to you probably on Friday, okay? And we'll talk about what that assignment entails, okay? And it won't be due, like I say, till probably like right before Christmas. And that way I can mark it over Christmas, and we'll have done all the stuff so you can actually answer all the questions. Because, like I say, some of the stuff we haven't gone over yet. Okay. You need to take that data booklet for sure, something to write in the data booklet with, okay, and your phone. Okay, so you can do those measurements. Try not to bring too much stuff. All right, like don't bring a huge backpack full of a whole bunch of things. Okay, because you really don't need much. Make sure you also have money for food. Okay, I don't want anyone getting low blood sugar and whatever, and getting hangry. I don't want to have to deal with you if you're hangry. Okay. All right, any other questions? All right, what time do you have to be here tomorrow? We're leaving at 7:15. Be here a little before 7:15. Okay, well, I hope you don't have any trouble coming here, because if you aim to be that tight, you might be the guy who gets to wave bye-bye to us as we drive away. Okay?